Have you ever noticed that some people seem to drain your energy, while others make you feel more alive without saying a single word? It's as if something invisible is happening in the air, something you feel but can't logically explain. This is not a coincidence. And what almost no one ever tells you is that you are manipulating energy all the time, consciously or unconsciously. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction creates a real energetic impact on the field around you. Popular belief says that energy is mystical, distant, too spiritual to be practical or controlled. But the truth, and this may feel uncomfortable, is that the most emotionally successful people are not the most positive ones. They are the ones who know how to direct their internal energy, even in chaotic environments. If you have ever felt tired for no clear reason, confused after certain conversations, or stuck despite trying to grow, the problem is not a lack of effort. Often, it lies in the energetic field you absorb and emit every single day without realizing it. The counterintuitive truth is simple. It's not about protecting your energy. It's about learning how to govern your internal state. In the next few minutes, you will see how invisible shifts can generate immediate results. More mental clarity, more emotional stability, more control over how you feel, regardless of people or environments around you. And once you truly understand this, you will never look at relationships, environments, or yourself the same way again. Modern science now confirms something ancient traditions understood thousands of years ago. Reality does not begin with matter, it begins with energy. Physics describes matter as condensed vibration. Atoms are not solid objects. They are dynamic fields of probability oscillating at specific frequencies. At the most fundamental level, nothing is static. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Your body is no exception. You are not a solid being having energetic experiences. You are an energetic system temporarily organized into form, and that changes everything. Neuroscience shows that your brain is not a passive observer of reality. It is a prediction machine. Every second, it generates internal models based on past experiences, emotional memory, and expectation. These models influence what you perceive, how you interpret events, and how your nervous system responds. Thoughts are not abstract concepts floating in your head. They are electrochemical signals. Each thought produces electrical impulses, chemical reactions, measurable changes in neural coherence. When thoughts repeat, neural pathways strengthen. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain becomes efficient at what you think most. And efficiency means automatic execution. The body reacts before conscious awareness. The nervous system processes information milliseconds faster than conscious thought. This means your posture changes before you decide. Your tone shifts before intention. Your energy contracts before logic intervenes. So when negative thinking becomes habitual, the body lives in a state of chronic contraction. Shallow breathing, tension in the chest, hypervigilance, mental fatigue. This is not psychological weakness. It is physiological conditioning. Everything you feel, think, and experience does not begin in the physical world. It begins in an invisible frequency. Before any external action, there is an internal state silently vibrating within you. This state sets the tone for perception, reaction, and behavior. Emotions are not random. They are signals of alignment or misalignment. When something feels wrong, it is not intuition mysticism. It is energetic information being ignored. Science calls it vibration. Psychology calls it emotional state. Spiritual traditions call it energy. Different names for the same phenomenon. Everything emits and everything receives. You do not attract what you want. You resonate with what matches your internal frequency. This is why effort without alignment creates exhaustion, not progress. Most people struggle against life without realizing they are operating outside their own frequency. And here comes the uncomfortable part. To change outcomes, you must change frequency first. Positive thinking does nothing if the body vibrates fear. Affirmations fail when the internal field remains tense, defensive, or fragmented. Something is happening before conscious thought that defines your experiences. And understanding this shifts how you relate to control itself. Every human interaction is a silent energetic exchange that happens before words. You feel when a room is heavy. You feel when someone makes you feel lighter. This is not imagination. It is a constant vibrational interaction. Even in silence, energetic fields meet, overlap, and influence each other. The body detects this long before the rational mind does. That is why you can leave a conversation drained without knowing why. Or unexpectedly calm, even when nothing remarkable was said. This exchange is never neutral. There is always a gain or loss of internal coherence. Some people move through situations unaffected, not because they are stronger, but because they are vibrationally stable. And here is the key point most people miss. You are not a passive receiver in this exchange. You participate actively through the state you sustain. Those who do not govern their internal state hand control over to the environment. There is an invisible point where you decide the impact you receive. And that point defines how life responds to you. Now, here is where thoughts become critical. Thoughts are not neutral. They are not silent. And they are not harmless. Every thought carries a charge. And repeated thoughts create energetic patterns that shape how you feel, how you behave, and how others experience you even without words. Negative thoughts are not just pessimistic ideas. They are low coherence signals. Quantum physics introduces a disturbing but liberating idea. The observer influences the observed. At the quantum level, particles behave differently depending on measurement. Possibility collapses into outcome through interaction. This does not mean you create reality with thoughts in a simplistic way. It means perception, attention, and intention are not passive. Your internal state filters what becomes real to you. Two people can experience the same event and live in completely different realities afterward. The difference is not the event. It is the observer state. Long before neuroscience and quantum physics, ancient civilizations already spoke of vibration. The Egyptians described the universe as sound and resonance. The Vedic texts spoke of Nada Brahma. The universe is vibration. Taoism emphasized harmony and flow. The Stoics spoke of inner order as the source of outer stability. They did not use modern language, but they understood the principle. Inner coherence creates outer order. Inner chaos creates distortion. What they called spirit, we now call frequency. What they called alignment, we now call coherence. Fear, resentment, self-doubt, anticipation of rejection, constant comparison. All of these thoughts emit frequencies that the body sustains automatically. When a negative thought becomes habitual, it stops feeling like a thought. It becomes a state, and states silently dictate perception, emotional reactions, and decisions. This is why people sabotage opportunities without understanding why. Why relationships deteriorate without obvious conflict. Why some individuals feel unseen, rejected, or misunderstood even when others insist otherwise. Often, the problem is not external. It is the energetic signal being emitted internally. Negative thinking creates internal noise. Noise disrupts coherence. When the mind loops on worry or judgment, the body contracts. Breathing becomes shallow. Attention narrows. Presence weakens. This contraction is felt by others instantly, not consciously, but energetically. People may describe it as tension, discomfort, distance, or simply say, something feels off. In relationships, this effect multiplies. Relationships do not fail only because of communication. They fail because of invisible misalignment. Unspoken thoughts leak. Suppressed emotions radiate. Internal narratives shape presence. Resentment becomes distance. Insecurity becomes control. Fear becomes silence. And the other person feels it, even if they can't explain it. Energy speaks before language. Unspoken negative thoughts leak into interactions. Insecurity becomes control. Suspicion becomes defensiveness. Resentment becomes emotional withdrawal. Even silence becomes heavy. And the most deceptive part is that many believe these thoughts are protective, when in reality, they fragment the internal field and destabilize connection. Negative thought energy does not stay contained. It spreads into posture, tone, micro-expressions, and emotional availability. Over time, relationships respond accordingly. Another overlooked truth. The nervous system does not distinguish between imagined threats and real ones. When you replay negative scenarios internally, the body responds as if they are happening now. Stress signals activate. The energetic field contracts. Coherence collapses. Sustaining this state creates a baseline frequency of tension. This is why many people feel tired even after resting. Why motivation fades without explanation. Why life feels heavy even when nothing is objectively wrong. The system is overloaded, not by reality, but by internal dialogue. Until that dialogue changes, external improvements rarely last. So how do you improve the quality of your thoughts without forcing positivity or denying reality? It begins with awareness. You do not fight negative thoughts. You observe them. The moment a thought is seen clearly, it loses part of its charge. Unconscious thoughts control behavior. Conscious thoughts can be redirected. Instead of asking, "Is this thought true?" ask, "What state does this thought create in my body?" If it contracts breathing, tightens the chest, or pulls attention inward, it is lowering coherence, regardless of how logical it sounds. The next step is replacing repetition, not perfection. The nervous system adapts to what is repeated most. Repeated gratitude stabilizes the field. Repeated judgment destabilizes it. Repeated presence strengthens coherence. Repeated anticipation of loss weakens it. High-frequency thinking is not blind optimism. It is clarity, neutrality, and intention. A calm, grounded thought carries more coherence than an excited but unstable one. Attention hygiene becomes essential. Where attention goes, energy follows. Constant exposure to conflict, outrage, comparison, and chaos fragments thought quality. This is why many people feel mentally scattered without knowing why. Silence is not empty. Silence recalibrates. Moments of stillness allow the nervous system to reset and thoughts to reorganize naturally. To sustain a positive vibrational frequency, the body must be involved. Thoughts alone are insufficient. Deep breathing signals safety. Grounded presence stabilizes the field. Slow, deliberate actions reinforce coherence. When the body feels regulated, the mind follows. This is why people who react less, speak calmly, and move with intention influence rooms without effort. Their frequency is stable. Thoughts follow physiology. Slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Grounded posture signals safety. Stillness restores coherence. This is why monks, warriors, and sages trained the body first. They knew, control the breath, stabilize the mind, and elevate frequency. The most powerful shift happens when you stop identifying with every thought. You are not your thoughts. You are the field observing them. When this becomes clear, thoughts lose authority. You choose which ones to sustain. Sustained thoughts become states. States shape behavior. Behavior influences relationships. Relationships shape life. This is the real chain of influence. Maintaining a positive vibrational frequency is not about control. It is about consistency. Small internal adjustments repeated daily create massive energetic shifts over time. The quality of your thoughts today is shaping the reality you will experience tomorrow. And the moment you take responsibility for that, you stop reacting to life and start influencing it from the inside out. Now the question is no longer whether this works. The real question is, what will you do with this awareness? Will you continue reacting to the same thoughts? The same emotional patterns, the same internal noise? Or will you take control of the state from which you live, think, and decide? Because change does not begin when the world changes. It begins when you change frequency. Observe your routine, your conversations, your recurring thoughts. What are they feeding in you every day? What state have you been sustaining without noticing? And if, starting today, you chose to vibrate differently, what in your life would be forced to adjust automatically? This does not require perfection. It requires presence. It requires application. Small daily choices create invisible transformations. And the longer you sustain this new state, the more reality responds. If this content awakens something in you, do not stop here. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue deepening this knowledge.